Okay, so we got our math boxes coming back up here. I'm just going to film working through these so that you guys have or can check your answers. These are math boxes for section 7.3 or 7-3, I believe on page 236. So, number one, Tori has 3 packages of cookies. Each package weighs 5/6 of a pound. How many pounds do all the packages weigh? So this is going to be your answer again eventually, but we need to do all this work. All this work gets us that. So, in words, we have blank groups of blank. Well, we have 3 groups because we have 3 packages, and those packages each weigh 5/6 of a pound. This is exactly what you were, pretty much what you were working on today. We also did this yesterday. If we have 3 groups of 5/6 in each of these blanks, you would write 5/6. And down here for your multiplication equation, it's exactly like this. 3 times 5/6. Although, when we have a whole number, one thing that we've talked about the last few days, at least the last 3 that I've been posting videos for you guys, is to put that whole number over 1. It's going to make multiplying easier for you. So, if you solve the addition problem, when we add or subtract fractions, our denominator doesn't change, so we're going to have 6 in our denominator. Here you should have added your 5s, 5, 10, 15, and you have 15/6. Again, that's an okay answer. It's a pretty good answer. You get the same thing down here if you multiply, because we just multiply numerator times numerator. 3 times 5 is 15, and 1 times 6 is 6. And that's a good answer. But we've also talked about that we probably wouldn't say that we have 15/6 of a pound, because obviously there are some pounds in there. The way to solve that, to figure out how many pounds it actually is to put it, is to divide. That'll get you a mixed number. So we have 15 divided by 6, and what we're thinking is, what times 6 gets me close to 15 without going over? And we know we can't do 10 because 6 times 10 is 60. We know we can't do 5. 6 times 5 is 30. So we have to do less than that. A good jumping off point is 2. It's at least more than 1. 6 times 2 is 12. And then you subtract. Remember, you multiply your divisor times this outside number here to get, it's a partial quotient. This is a partial quotient. So your divisor times your partial quotient, 6 times 2 is 12, and you subtract. 5 minus 2 is 3, 1 minus 1 is 0. When your remainder is smaller than your divisor, you're done. You don't have to do any more dividing, and 3 is smaller than 6. So your answer here in a mixed number would be whole number 2, numerator 3, denominator 6. So your answer over here, 2 and 3/6. Now I know some of you are probably saying, well, Mr. Roth, isn't 3/6 1/2? You're absolutely right, it is. You could also write it as 2 and 1/2 would be a really great answer. If you're getting that far, if you're simplifying the fraction to its lowest denominator, that's pretty good. That's really good thinking. So anyway, that's number 1. If you got 15/6, I probably wouldn't have marked it wrong, but I probably would have made a note in there for you to divide, make it a mixed number. Over here, we've got this fraction, or this, excuse me, it's not a fraction. We've got this angle right here, TAP, and TAP, we need to compare it to, it's either acute or obtuse. And we always compare that to a right angle. Again, my right angle isn't perfect, but it's close enough. If you look, if this was a right angle, it would be coming up here. So this is obviously bigger than a right angle. You should have written in 2's. Now, I don't recall exactly what that angle is. I'm going to grab my book super fast. Stay with me. If you had measured that with your protractor, you should have gotten 135 degrees. If you have a protractor at home. If you didn't and you didn't do it, that's fine. I mentioned that in the previous video. That, whoops, probably got to put the marker down before I try and move it. But you may not be able to do that. Okay, in this one, I said that there's probably more than one answer because it says circle all the correct answers. Well, if you did 5/8 plus 3/8, and when you add fractions, our denominator doesn't change. 8ths are going to stay the same all the way through. Then we add 5 plus 3, which is 8. So obviously, A is a correct answer, 8/8. This one is wrong because what they did is they added the denominators. And you guys, when I did this in class all the time, I go, 8 plus 8 is 16. You guys would go, no, you can't do that. You're right, you can't do that. But we also know that if we had a fraction circle, and there's 8 pieces, if I fill in all 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, that's one whole circle. So it's also the same as 1 inch. This 3 over 0 they subtracted. Not only did they subtract 5 minus 3 would get you 2. I don't even know what they did here. 8 minus 5 maybe. But if you subtracted, they also subtracted their denominators. And when you subtract denominators, you don't subtract denominators. It stays the same all the way through as long as they're the same number. So I don't know what was going on in letter D, but that is not a great answer. Problem 4, probably some of the most work that you did. Each pound is 16 ounces, so there what you maybe needed to do is divide 64 by 16. Again, you can't do 10. 10 times 16 would be 160, and that's too much. A good starting off spot, if you're stuck, maybe just do 2. And try and do partial products multiplication. 2 times 10 is 20. 2 times 6 is 12. So 2 times 16 is 32. And you subtract. 4 minus 2 is 2. 6 minus 3 is 3. And hey, look. When we did that step, 16 times 2 got us 32. We can do another 2 because I know that 16 times 2 is 32, and that's going to get you your answer. You should have ended up with 4 pounds. Now this one, though, is exactly what we were working on today. You have 1/4 of a pound times 16. Well, we're going to put that 16 over 1. Because anytime that we multiply a fraction by a whole number, we know that we need to put the whole number into a fractional form, which would be 16 over 1. 1 times 16 is 16. 4 times 1 is 4. And then you need to divide. Because you wouldn't say, I have 16/4 ounces. That doesn't make any sense. Put the 16 in here, divide by 4. Really what you're thinking about is, what times 4 equals 16? And you could just count by 4s if you wanted to. 4, 8, 12, 16. Takes 4 of them. 4 times 4 is 16, and subtract. So your answer here is also 4 ounces. 4 pounds, 4 ounces. This next one I think is pretty easy. Oh, you didn't want to erase those. Whoops. 5 tons. Each ton is 2,000 pounds. So this is just 5 times 2,000. I wouldn't do 5 times 2,000. I'd probably just do the 5 times the 2 right away. 5 times 2 is 10. Then I just remember to add my 3 zeros. I can fit them on here. Whoa, it's getting a little cramped, but you should get 10,000. Same thing with this one. Each meter is 100 centimeters, so this one is just simply 6 times 100. And we can all pretty much do that in our head, I think. 6 times 1 is 6, and add 2 zeros. 6 times 1, don't forget your zeros. On this one, you're going the other way. Each meter is 1,000 millimeters, so something times 1,000 equals 8,000. And when you're doing this, don't worry about the zeros. I got 3 zeros here, I can take away these 3 zeros. I'm thinking something times 1 equals 8, and that's obviously 8. So this should have been 8. Alright, last but certainly not least, explaining how you did number 1. If I were going to explain how I did number 1, I would say something along the lines of this. I gotta look back and make sure I use the right fractions. We had 3 groups of 5/6. So I wrote 5/6 times 3 over 1 because 3 over 1 is equal to 3. So maybe I should write it out for you. We had 3 groups of 5/6. So I did 5/6 times 3 over 1. 3 over 1 equals 3. 5/6 times 3 over 1 equals 15 over 6. I did 15 divided by 6 equals 2 and 3, 6. That's a lot to write, but we really want to push ourselves to write more every chance we get on this. So hope you did pretty well in your math boxes, and stay tuned. I'll have your math lesson for you tomorrow.